Hi everybody, Mike with Enviroscape LA. And I'll tell you what, we did a video last week of this garden that it was just in fact, let's take a video shot of the next door neighbors. This yard that I'm standing at now looked exactly like that, just the old grass. In fact, it had old bushes. It was just nasty looking. It was actually elevated too. So what we did was we had a tractor come in, pull everything down, and we actually dug a big, gigantic hole in the middle of the yard. I've got video of it. I've also got pictures of it too. And here's the interesting thing. This is a week later. We're done. Actually, not even a week later. What we did was Mimi Anderson from Garden Magic Company actually designed this amazing drought-tolerant, but more importantly, California-friendly garden. If there's one takeaway from this whole entire video we're doing right now is California-friendly. California-friendly. That's what we want. We want California plants that are either indigenous or they don't need a lot of water. That's the thing. Okay, and one of the interesting things is that, the two very interesting things. We've got the Rainbird drip irrigation system in here. These are the Rainbird valves, and the reason we use Rainbird drip irrigation is because it has the little copper strip in it. It's the only one in the market that has that, and that prevents root intrusion, so you never have to worry about weeds growing in. And then over here, we have this pipe that when it rains, water comes into the gutter, and normally water would just be sent out to the street, and it would add to the LA River, what we call the LA River, you know, the gutter that everybody's lawn overwaters, and it goes in, it makes these rivers, I swear. In fact, there's one that's about 4 or 5 inches on the street. We'll take you by there later and show you. But anyway, to make a long story short, what happens here, this is not adding to the LA River. Typically what happens is this LA River overflow from typical yards will actually go to the ocean, and it'll take with it lots of jet fuel and oil and all the bad stuff that's killing our oceans. Okay, so if it's not going to the ocean, where is this going to? Well, follow me and I'm going to show you. I had mentioned earlier in the video that we had actually had a big hole dug. Well, what we did with that big hole was we put these tanks, they're called rainwater diversion tanks, and we put them down here. Their sole purpose is to hold water. We put them down here, wrapped them with geotextile fabric, and we ran that pipe over there, ran a little drain from over here, ran them both here. Now what's going to happen is when it rains, where there's excess water over there, it'll go into the boxes. That water will go into the ground for groundwater recharge. Now, why is groundwater recharge so important? Because LA does get a certain percentage of its water, fresh water, from wells. Well, guess what? If all the water that falls down doesn't recharge the ground in LA, we're going to run out of water. It's as simple as that. So everybody needs to start doing groundwater recharge. So that's what we did here. This is called, by the way, the quote technical name, if you want to look this up, you can look it up online. It's called a rain garden. Simple as that. And what a rain garden is now we went the extra mile. We put the eco rain tanks in, but it's just a big indention in the ground, so that even if we didn't have the rain boxes in, this will hold a couple 100 gallons without the boxes. But with the boxes, we'll be able to hold upwards of about 300 to 500 gallons. So it's a fabulous little system here. We also put DG, which is decomposed granite, this red earth you see, and what that does is it's permeable, and it's a great walking surface, and it's not going to wear out. You don't need to keep putting glue on it or anything. It's just a fabulous surface. The plant materials were specifically put down here in this California-friendly garden. Something about the plant materials. This is the manzanita bush, and the manzanita bush is actually a California native. It's called the Arctostaphylos, and to see that pretty red bark, it's just amazing. This is a medium-sized bush. It's going to get bigger, but it's not going to need a whole lot of water. In fact, it probably doesn't like water once it gets fully established. Right now we're watering everything a lot. It's another thing too. If you plant a native garden or a California-friendly garden, you got to give it a ton of water just at first. Let the roots sink down and then start tapering off on the water. In fact, you might, if it's the summertime, you might even give it a little bit of hand watering too. Another interesting thing too that I wanted to make note of is I mentioned that we had drip irrigation. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you. This is called an air relief valve. And what it is I'm really not going to get real technical on you, but basically it's a way to get all the air out of the line. If you're going to have your gardener do this or a landscaper install drip irrigation, make sure they put an air relief valve on. Now I'm going to take you to the parkway here, and we put a very drought tolerant grass substitute called Diamondia, and these little individual plants, they're going to knit together and they're drought tolerant, and you don't have to mow them. They don't get very big. In fact, a big bonus is they get a little yellow flower on them. So I'm really excited that we have something that well, mixed feelings. I started out as a kid mowing my neighbor's lawn back when I was a teenager. I think it was Florence, or was her name, and she'd give me $5 and I'd hand mow her lawn. Well, we're not going to have that anymore. You know, as a society, we need to get out of the mow and blow mentality, and we need to get more into this type of mentality. So you're going to save money, you're going to help the environment, and it's just, I'm going to do another video, and we're just going to be absolutely, it's going to look absolutely gorgeous once it's filled in. Now, I'm going to show you something. I mentioned the LA River. Ta-da! I didn't bring my paddle today, but I bet I could almost float a canoe on this. Look at this. Look at that. People over-watering their lawns. And guess where it's going? It's going down the drain. It's taking all this motor oil and it's going through the ocean. It's just crazy. This is ridiculous. You can actually float. I bet if I was bet that little mouse they make the movies about. I bet I could probably float on this.
Ratatouille.
Yeah, Ratatouille. And then over here, I've got a. Whoa! Look at this. Oh my goodness. Let's get a shot of this. This should be illegal. Actually, it is illegal in the city of Los Angeles. It's called runoff. But this is what happens. This is a result of lawns. And in fact, the next door neighbor has a lawn, and so when you mow a lot of lawn, or when you water a lot of lawns, you have overspray. So if you're going to have a lawn, I would encourage drip irrigation. It would eliminate all this. Now let me take you over here. If you're going to have a gardener, or you're going to have an installer install drip irrigation, let me show you another little neat trick. This right here, okay, so that's called the ARV, that's called the air relief valve. This other one here is called a clean out. What happens is that in about a year or so, the best filters in the world aren't 100%. And so this is the end of the line here. And so in about a year, when there's a little bit of debris in the line, we open this, we turn on the valve, it'll flush everything out, and it's just like new in about a year. So you do that every year for 20 years, it's like you have a new drip irrigation system every single year. So, and the design, I gotta say, look at the rock work here. The Enviroscape crew worked with Mimi Anderson of Garden Magic, and the rock work, and those pebbles just tied in so beautifully with the DG. I really gotta hand it to the designer, and then with the Enviroscape crew working together, we created what I would call earth art. Just absolutely beautiful. This is less than a week old that we've installed this. We're gonna come back, we're gonna take more video once it's grown in, and you'll see this will take very, very little water. Once it's established, it'll probably only get watered a few times in the summertime. So I encourage everybody to think California friendly. This is Mike from Enviroscape LA signing off. When you think sustainability, think Enviroscape LA.